Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT show for the 9th of December 2020. I always find that in WWE, December's a dead month. I really, not that I almost feel like they are one step short of going dark in December. That's just my experience. I don't ever remember December being a time when you had to care about what was going on. Um, anyway, so NXT champion Finn Balor opens the show. He returns to NXT. He's wearing a leather jacket and street clothes. He has the belt with him and looks like a star. He says Balor decides the champ is back, and some people love him, others hate him, but they can't deny how good he is in the ring. Pete Dunne enters to the right of the stage. Dunne glares at Balor's and walks to the ring. Dunne confronts him inside the ring. Dunne said he and Balor are cut from the same cloth. He said they both came from overseas, and Dunne said it's about time they stand face to face, and he's glad that Balor's back. Dunne vows to take the championship from Balor, and that brings out Kyle O'Reilly. He interrupts and he calls Dunne Peter Pumpkin Eater. Kind of funny. Anyway, O'Reilly brags about Undisputed Era winning at War Games. He shifts his focus to the champion. O'Reilly reminded Balor that he broke his jaw, and O'Reilly said they have unfinished business. Damian Priest comes out. He joins. Priest says Dunne stops and asks if he isn't the old man that couldn't beat Leon Ruff. Awesome line. Priest and Dunne have a verbal sparring match, and O'Reilly starts to get in on that too. Balor leaves the ring, walks up the ramp. Priest asks where he's going. Balor said they need to learn manners, and they cut Balor off before he could announce that he'd be defending the title on New Year's Evil, deciding who is not his job, and that's William Regal's to decide. Balor's leaving. The lights in the arena flicker. The theme for Karrion Kross hits. Scarlett confronted Balor and said that she had a message from Kross. Balor said when Kross is ready, he's ready. Balor exits to the right of the stage, and then Priest refers to Scarlett as Smoke Show and called out Kross. Scarlett smiles, and that's that. Killian Dane attacks Pete Dunne during the break. They do a pull-apart brawl. Jake Atlas defeats Isaiah Scott. This is just sad because Scott was on a roll for such a while, and now Atlas, who can barely get wins, gets a win. And obviously this is an upset. Interesting offense. Scott in control throughout most of the early part of the match. Atlas fights back and keeps trying to counter Scott with a 3/4 cradle. Atlas counters with a crucifix to score the pinfall. Scott then basically stares a hole through Atlas. Atlas offers a handshake, and that does not happen. Tommaso Ciampa with a promo, cutting a promo on Cameron Grimes ahead of their match. And then we go to Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson, defeating Everrise, Chase Parker, and Matt Martell, and Imperium, Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Eichner in a triple threat tag match. Drake pins Parker to win the match. Bout set up from last week when all three teams are kind of getting into a brawl on the floor. They pick up where they left off. Grizzled Young Veterans and Imperium basically go at it in the ring for a bit. And there's supposed to be three people in the ring, one from each team, in at all times. Everrise is laid out on the floor. They're playing possum. and the match continues in the ring. Ever-Rise rushes back in when they realize they could lose, and they take over on offense. Chaos for a little bit, and basically it's move, move, move. Eichner with a beautiful moonsault. Gibson is sent out to the floor. Imperium hits a finish on Drake, but Ever-Rise jumps up, steals the pin. Parker gets a near fall on Drake. Veterans with Ticket to Mayhem on Parker, and Drake covers him for the pinfall. This was fine, but it really shows the lack of continuity and foresight in the NXT Tag Division. Highlights of the War Games this past Sunday air, and Io Shirai brawls with Toni Storm. Storm's backstage interview is asked why she turned on Ember Moon. She says she stole her thunder. And then Shirai confronts her. Shirai said she has no problem with Storm and she just didn't like her. Shirai smacked her in the face. They brawl. Storm and Shirai battle. And they take the fight to the ring. Storm tries to flee. And Ember Moon comes out to attack Storm. Ember wants payback. And Shirai hits her with a moonsault, and then there we go. Tommaso Ciampa defeats Cameron Grimes. Poor Grimes can't catch a break, but is always good when he's here. Ciampa is getting the better of Grimes. Timothy Thatcher makes his way out with a chair, and he sits in the aisleway. Grimes tries to fight back. Ciampa basically is dominant the whole match. They fight at ringside in front of Thatcher. Ciampa gets distracted by Thatcher for a minute, and Grimes cuts Ciampa off. They go to commercial. Ciampa makes a comeback post the break. He hits Grimes with a series of lariats, and Grimes manages to kick out in near fall. More strikes continue. A running one-man Spanish fly gets Grimes a near fall. They trade strikes. Grimes is sent out of the ring. Tyler Rust runs in for interference. Ciampa wrestles, and this is not a DQ. Grimes tries to capitalize on the interference. Ciampa is crafty enough to catch him with the Widow's Bell and gets a pinfall. Ciampa and Thatcher have a stare down post-match. Ciampa walks backwards while leaving and glares at Thatcher. Grimes confronts Thatcher and yells at him. Thatcher turns to leave. Grimes spins him around, and then Thatcher puts him in an ankle lock and regrets his decision. Xia Li and Boa are still being tortured. And they bleed from the knuckles, and they bleed from being hit with kendo sticks. NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano makes his way to the ring with his wife Candice LeRae. Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory are also there. Gargano said for months they're going to show you the way. They've looked at it and decided they've pointed all four of them. They call themselves the Way now, apparently. And Theory exclaims, Milky Way. Haha, I guess. Anyway, Gargano brags about his success and his victory. He brags about his wife. Gargano yells at the crowd for a bit. And then Gargano has a surprise for LeRae. He had it shipped overnight from Italy. And then he pulls a sheet off the surprise. Gargano reveals a trophy. And it was a green-haired doll that basically looked like Shotzi Blackheart. This was fun enough. Damian Priest interrupts them. He headed to the ring when Killian Cross blindsides him out of nowhere. Cross powerbombs Priest through a table. Cross then leaves the building and speeds away. Malcolm Bevins approaches Tyler Rust, wanting him to let him be his manager. Pete Dunne and Killian Dane. Dunne gets a victory after outside interference. And so Dane goes nuts on Dunne. Dane and Dunne. Interesting legal team. Anyway, Dane pummels him until Dunne catches him with a kick. Dunne fights back, and Dane posts him after headbutting the ring post. They go to commercial, but before that, Dunne fights back and ultimately tries to work Dane over, and he hits a belly-to-belly suplex. Dunne gets thrown across the ring, and Dunne cuts him off again. Goes after his fingers. After commercial break, Dunne comes back, and he does more mat work. There's some sentons, and powerbomb by Dane. Dane is going for other power bombs, and Dunne tries to counter into a triangle choke. Dane deadlift powerbomb, breaks the hold. Dane hits a shotgun drop kick, which is pretty impressive for a big guy, and he goes to follow up with a senton in the corner. Dunne moves. Dane crashes into the corner. Dane moments later gets hit with a Fisherman Buster off the top rope, and Dane is turned inside out with a lariat. Dane set up a Vader bomb, and Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan run down to ringside. Drake Maverick comes out to save the day. He chases both guys off, swinging a chair, or so he thinks. But then Lorcan and Burch attack him from behind, and Dane comes out to save his tag partner. Burch and Lorcan flee, but this allows Dunne to hit Dane with a cheap shot and get a victory. He executes the bitter end and gets the win. Priest is now out of his match, and Leon Ruff needs a new tag partner for next week. Gargano makes fun of him, saying that he could face Gargano in theory on his own. In a handicap match, Kushida enters the scene. He volunteers to be the partner. Then we go to our main event. Raquel Gonzalez and Ember Moon. Gonzalez pins Moon in a good match. Pins are clean. A lot of touch and go. Gonzalez grabs Moon in her clutches and throws her out of the corner. Gonzalez cuts off a hope spot and counters with a lot of offense. Moon starts to come back, hits a series of drop kicks, but Gonzalez only goes to a single knee, flatliner, and Moon spears Gonzalez on the apron before the show goes to commercial. Gonzalez cuts Moon off during the break. When the show returned, Gonzalez has Moon trapped in a gory special. That move always looks unpleasant. Moon hits a head scissors counter with Gonzalez crashing into the turnbuckle and starts a comeback. Moon screams and does a cartwheel clothesline. Moon hits a tilt-a-whirl into a tornado DDT for near fall. Moon goes through the ropes with a suicide dive, climbs up the lighting ring at ringside, goes for a splash. Gonzalez catches her in midair and then sends Moon into a snake eyes position. Moon manages to kick out of this, which just looked goofy, way too much punishment. Gonzalez sends herself into the post, and Moon hits her with some kicks. Moon climbs the turnbuckle and goes for the ellipse. Gonzalez hits a counter again, and then they go to midair. Lariat. Moon gets a near fall on a counter using a roll-up. Gonzalez kicks out. Gonzalez uses a powerful powerbomb to score the pin. Toni Storm comes out to the ring post-match. She said that she's ready to attack Moon, but Rhea Ripley makes the save. Rhea Ripley cleans house as the show closes. Not a bad show, better than even the hype for the War Games thing, and in some ways had a little bit more solid wrestling than parts of Dynamite. I'd say the shows were pretty even tonight. Both had flaws, both had good points, but we win as wrestling fans. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.